I'm Andre, I'm a leadership consultant, and today I want to analyze Caitlin Clark's statements, press conferences, the way she answers questions, and the way she, in my opinion, does some things very, very well from the point of view of leadership and communication. Caitlin Clark is a WNBA superstar. She's just won Rookie of the Year, and in her first year as a pro, she's elevated the entire league's popularity by a number of times. From something not a lot of people really watch to sold out games everywhere she goes, and not only. And undoubtedly, she's a hell of a player too, but not knowing a lot about basketball, I can't comment on her plays, but I can comment on her attitude and behavior from a leadership and communication point of view. And as always, when I talk about real people, the general disclaimer, I don't know anything about these people other than the publicly accessible information. I'm not here to tell you to like Caitlin, not like Caitlin, watch basketball, don't watch basketball, I don't care. I'm simply taking her as an example to highlight some leadership and communication behaviors that I think we can all learn from and apply in our work. And there's 4 points I've identified and I want to talk about. And the first one I'm going to call the Stockdale Paradox. The Stockdale Paradox is a concept, a mentality, to quote, combining the ability to confront the brutal facts of your current reality, even as you maintain unwavering faith that you will prevail in the end, no matter how distant that is.
We were right there, and I felt like we just played a crappy game. Like the flow of the game was really bad. Yeah, well, I felt like I like my shot felt right there. That's why like it's so frustrating as a shooter, like when it feels so good, but it won't go down for you. Um, that's what sucks about it. But like I said, I'm proud of our team. Like, we battled, we fought. Um, it wasn't pretty, but we were right there. Like I said, we didn't play well. Like we didn't play to the level that we're capable of playing. Um, and we didn't shoot the ball like we're capable of. But even that to the side, like we're capable of winning this game without making shots. Um, our defense could have been a little bit better. Obviously Marina gets hot and she's a really good player, but I had a few lapses on the defensive end where like as a shooter, once you see two in a row go in, like the basket looks huge, so you can't allow that. But like I said, I mean, we can win. It's not anything about the building. It's not about the gym. It's not about the hoops. Like I have all the confidence in the world in this team, and everybody in our locker room does. And I know we'll be a lot better on Wednesday.
And it's called the Stockdale Paradox because it comes from Jim Stockdale, an admiral, and it's a wartime inspired saying, what he's said. But the general attitude is, in my mind, in my opinion, pretty much universal and can be applied in all kinds of situations. And it's this balance between a positive attitude and a realistic attitude. And if you get the Stockdale paradox right, and if you find this balance, you're going to be able to avoid the two big dangers. One danger on one extreme is toxic positivity, where no one confronts the problems, nobody talks about the issues, nobody criticizes each other, and everything is like, yeah, it'll be great. And that's how you end up failing. On the other extreme, it's toxic negativity, where people are overly focused on criticizing each other and pushing each other down and domineering each other, and they focus too much on the negative things without focusing enough on the positive things. Both of these extremes are really, really bad, and the Stockdale paradox is about managing to balance them. And the way in which you balance them is, on the short term, you focus on the problems because you got to deal with the problems that need to be dealt with today. But on the long term, you focus on the potential and the possibilities and the confidence you have in yourself to reach your goals and to improve and to overcome. This is the Stockdale Paradox, and I see this exemplified in how Caitlin talks about things again and again and again. And the second point I've identified is this one game at a time mentality. And this reminds me of that Churchill quote that if you find yourself walking through hell, keep walking. And again, that's a wartime quote, and it's not the same thing. I'm not saying it's the same thing, but it's the same general attitude. When you're dealing with something, it's important to have a plan. It's important to have a long-term vision. It's also important to analyze how you did and what happened and what you can learn from it. But you can go too far in over-planning, overthinking, over-analyzing, getting paralyzed in analysis paralysis, getting to be too afraid to do anything because you might screw something up. And that's when this, okay, let's get back to one game at a time mentality, it's so useful.
A hugely anticipated game against the Chicago Sky. All that's been said and done with that rivalry, is there? I just wonder, you look at other sports, there's a lot of people that talk about how a big rivalry helps them find a new level, find an extra gear. Is that something that you feel is applying to you here, looking forward to Sunday's game?
I mean, I think we're just taking it one game at a time. And I think that's why we've been able to be successful in this stretch is because we haven't looked too far ahead. It's the game that's always just right in front of us. Um, I'm pretty sure the only people that view this as a rivalry is all of you. Like for us, like it's just a game of basketball. Like that's what it is. And if it's going to help move the game forward, absolutely. Like that's amazing. That's what it should be. Like people could talk about it.
One project at a time, one milestone at a time, one deadline at a time, one problem at a time. Let's deal with this thing, put it to the side, and then we'll worry about the next thing. And this is, in my opinion, a very powerful mentality because it allows you to keep going, keep working the problem, and not get stuck in your own anxiety and overthinking and overanalyzing things. And I think it's obvious how we can all use this attitude in our own work and our own stuff. And the third point I want to make is about raising others, supporting and raising and encouraging and promoting your teammates. Now you both challenge and support your teammates, and this is related to the Stockdale Paradox concept because you challenge them because you constructively criticize them, you tell them how they could do better, but you do that from a position of honestly and genuinely wanting the best for them, help them achieve their potential, and wanting to help the team overall be as good as it can be. And if you honestly do it from that position with that mentality, they will see that and they will take it as such. But criticism aside, constructive as it may be, you also have to just simply support and raise and encourage and applaud your teammates. Just say good things and nice things about them and highlight the things they did well and the things they did great.
Or Chemi does just as good a job as anybody I've ever played with. Like, you know, if she doesn't get the D board, she's sprinting down the court every single time. She's great hands. She finishes around the rim well. But I mean, she brings so much more than just running the floor. Like she just brings an energy, a confidence, a swagger about herself that's just it radiates to the whole team. She always believed in herself, but she probably didn't dream of being in the position that she is in right now. So for me, it's like really fun as somebody that has had a lot of belief in her and has been able to, you know, kind of watch her game evolve and her leadership evolve over the course of us being in college, but now taking that to the next level. And if anybody deserves this, it's definitely Kels. Like she comes in and works so hard. She's always been a constant voice. And even when she was hurt through training camp in the beginning of the season, like she was somebody that was right on the sideline coaching us, talking to us, and especially for myself as a rookie coming in here, like she was always a very positive voice in there and very supportive. And for me, like that makes you feel very welcome coming in as a rookie and getting to play with somebody that's been really, really good for this organization. So I just feel very lucky and fortunate because I know that's not every situation for a rookie. So I'm just very thankful.
And there's this one particular interaction between Caitlin Clark and her teammate Kelsey Mitchell that I just adore. So Kelsey, who's also one hell of a player, she's been in the team for 6 years. And for the past 6 years, the team hasn't doing very well. And overall, the league, the WNBA, wasn't very popular. They weren't getting a lot of attention. They weren't getting a lot of fans. They weren't selling a lot of tickets. And now Caitlin comes in her first year and everything explodes. And yes, of course, she's an awesome player. She's an awesome team player. And she's worked really hard for it. But it would be also very easy for someone like Kelsey to be jealous of that and to take it in a negative way. Like, hey, I've been working my ass for 6 years here in the dark and nobody's giving us, this kind of attention. And now this person comes and everyone's like, wow, this is awesome. It would be very easy to see that as unfair and to get bitter about it. But that would not be a constructive way of thinking. And the way Kelsey thinks about it, like, hey, I'm just going to do my absolute best, as I've always tried to do, as I will always try to do. And the fact that now we have this spotlight on us and we have this attention and now suddenly we have popularity, I'm going to take advantage of that and I'm grateful for it. And I'm going to work with Caitlin and I'm going to be the best teammate that I can be. And I'm going to try to do the best I can individually and for the team. And I think that's just an amazing, supportive attitude.
I think I'm a part of history, so shit, I'll take it. Obviously, it's a good thing for women's basketball. I'm playing alongside this kid, so it makes everything, a little bit more dramatic, and like the people are coming out to see this person. So we just do what we can. We embrace it. I'm pretty sure our organization can feed off of it, our, state of Indiana. So I think for us, we're going to utilize this energy for as much as we can possibly use it, and be happy that the women's basketball and the game where it's going is pretty positive. So.
And the fourth and final point I want to make is that you got to seek the pressure. You have to love the high intensity moments.
I guess that's just like the mentality you have to have as a competitor, is just like you want those moments, you like embrace those moments when your team needs a big shot, and I was able to create a little separation and get the shot off, and would have been nice to hit a few more of those tonight, but hey, we got the job done when we needed to. When you step on the court and you're a competitor, like you don't feel that. Like you're there competing. It's 5v5. Like there could have been nobody in the gym, and both teams would have competed the exact same way. And yeah, you're playing for a little more with a Final Four on the line. But to me, like, I'm not thinking like, oh my God, there's 15 million people at home watching this game right now. Like, no, like that's not what's happening. It's like, what can I do for my team to help me win the game right now? That's what's going through your mind. If you're too worried about everything else, you're not going to be successful. You got to be completely locked in on, what's happening between the lines. And I thought our team did a really good job of that. It wasn't so-and-so made a bad call. It wasn't like, oh my God, they've made 3 shots in a row. It was all about us and what we need to do. And I think that's one of the reasons we won the game, honestly.
A lot of people run away from high intensity moments. They want their work to be quiet. They want their life to be quiet. They want everything nice and smooth and even and predictable. And I'm not judging that, and that's absolutely fine. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. However, for those of us who want to be leaders, and especially good leaders, you can't do that. You have to learn to embrace the high pressure, high stakes, high intensity moments. And the only way to get comfortable doing something that is inherently uncomfortable, because it's something with a lot of consequences and everybody's eyes are on you, is to practice and prepare for that again and again and again and again and again. There's that saying that we don't rise to the heights of our expectations, we fall to the level of our training. There's no way for someone like Caitlin or whoever, you and me in our own situation, in our own work, in our own life, to rise to the high intensity moments when everybody's eyes are on us if we don't do that every day. Every day you gotta chase the hard thing, the important thing, the critical thing, the thing that everybody's kind of, I'm not sure. You look at it and you say, could I do that? And if you think you could, give it a shot. You have to practice taking chances. You have to practice doing the thing that people shy away from. You have to practice being calm under pressure. You have to practice being calm when everyone is expecting things from you. You have to practice performance in those situations daily in lower stakes but still higher than average stakes situations if you want to be ready when it really, really matters. So learn to embrace pressure, learn to love pressure, learn to do your best work when your work matters the most. And that's it. These are the 4 points. And I got to say that as someone who hasn't been following basketball, and I actually literally didn't know who Caitlin Clark was until a few months ago when she popped up in my YouTube feed and I started watching clips of her and interviews of her and plays with her and her team, I get a really, really good vibe from the way she talks and from the way her teammates talk and how they interact together and how they explain both their successes and their failures and how they explain how they approach situations and how they communicate and verbalize and conceptualize all of that. And I think in my mind, those are the signs of good people and a good team. And feeling that good vibe, I wanted to analyze it and see what's behind it, and that was that.